Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of Cooks with Iron. Me and my daughter are outside here today in the heat. Had a hard day at work, so came home, put on some comfortable clothes. I have fed the chickens, checked on the garden. So I want to give you guys an update on how the self-wicking gardening tubs are doing and what I would like to change and do different with those. I'll show you the chickens. And I have a suggestion, or I have a question. Hopefully you guys have got some suggestions that will help me out with my chicken issue. This may be, my garden's a little late. Okay, it's a little behind. But what happened is we were going to plant in the ground again, and then my tiller broke. So we decided to do the self-wicking containers. By the time we got those purchased and got them home, we were a month or so late on planting. Well, it did help with the fertilizer that we were putting in the tubs. But what is late, the few things that I did get to put in the ground, I put some wood chips down, and then I put some soil from Leon's greenhouse, from his soil that he was selling, and I put it in the ground. And then when I planted my plants, some of them didn't grow as well as they should, but it was my first time putting them in that ground, in that part of the garden. And then I put them in an old greenhouse that I used to have, but it didn't have the tarp on it anymore. So I just put them in the ground there with a whole bunch of wood chips, hoping that it would help keep them wet enough that they wouldn't have to be watered all the time. But the rabbit got a lot of the plants, and it stunted a lot of the growth. So that's where I'm at on that now. I'm very impressed because the rabbit ate all of the broccoli plants down to just little bitty nubs, and then it ate I had broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, I think, and then I had like 2 squash, 2 zucchini, some cucumbers where they would trellis up the part of the greenhouse. Well, the cucumbers all died. I had a couple of peas to trellis up, they all died. My squash bugs, I got 2 squash off of my squash plant, and the bugs just killed them both. Now, sit down baby, it's hot. Now, I am going to try this next year, because I had one lady that told me, she said, I've got so much squash and zucchini, you need to come get some. And I asked her, how does she do that? I had been to her house before, and I picked potatoes a few years ago. And she said, every mound of dirt that you make, you put 1/4 cup of sugar in there with your seed. And when your plant grows, you will not have squash bugs. She said, I have no squash bugs at all. Now, she lives like 5 or 6 miles from me, guys. So I'm thinking I'm going to try that next year. And I've even thought I may try it this year. Now, we're only in July here, which is what people call over the growing season. I should have already had plants, had them going. They should already be maturing and ready to die off. But I do live in Oklahoma, where the weather is so unpredictable. And last year, we had great weather going into August, September, October. It never did get really cold. And if I would have still had my plants going, then I would have had a great garden. But that was the year my tiller broke last year, and it had, my whole garden was grown up over 8 foot tall. You couldn't even get in there. So I want to know a couple of things. Have you guys ever put sugar with your squash and zucchini plants when you planted them? Have you ever heard of that? I did not Google it yet to see if anybody knows about that or how this lady knew this. But I am going to try that. And then I want to keep you up to date on where I'm at now and show you what I've got going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera around, and you guys listen. I do have weeds, and some of my plants are wilting. Some of them are trying to die, but this is my first time figuring out these self-wicking gardens. So I'm working on it. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing I will change on the self-wicking gardens next year. So what I'm going to do is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I have 6 containers of self-wicking. Okay, so what I'm going to do next year is I will empty everything out of the container, and then I will set them where the pipe that you water through and the hole we drilled in the side is on the same side. Because I've got all 6 of mine in a corner of the garden, like the corner of my back porch like this, and so you can't see the hole. We just drilled holes, stuck pipes in there, didn't even think about it. So every time I go to water through one of the pipes, I can't see when the water runs out of the side. I'm looking all around the container, and then I've got these huge tomato plants coming out of them, and I can't see because everything's in the way. So that is one thing I will change for next year. I will dump all of my soil out. I will situate the pipes and the corrugated pipe in the bottom and the landscaping fabric. I will make it all straight again where the hole and the pipe that you water through is on the same side. I hope that makes sense. But I will get that done so that it's not such a hassle trying to find the hole next year and know when your watering tub is full. A few things I'm going to show you that are just now popping up because I did start some more seeds. No. I figured with the really unpredictable weather that we have here in Oklahoma that we can go ahead and start a few more things. I already have the seeds. It's a packet of seeds. It's what, $1.50? And so I've got extra seeds left over. So I thought might as well start a seed, and if it goes ahead and grows, great. And if I don't get any fruit off of it, I haven't lost nothing but one seed. So let me flip the camera around, show you where I'm at, and show you what I got going on, and I'll keep you updated. See you guys in a little bit. And if you want to, like, share, subscribe, appreciate, do all the things, and it helps my videos out, and maybe we'll get some more people watching them, and get more people excited about gardening. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all. Over here. Okay. Here we go, and here is my 6 self-wicking containers. I'll explain each one of them to you as we go around. Okay, this one had 1 jalapeno plant in it, and we have picked so many, these are Anaheims. We picked a whole lot of Anaheims off of this, and it's a very healthy plant. It looks really good. Now in the bottom, I planted broccoli by seeds. It was way too late in the season, but they are starting to come up really well. So I don't know if they will go ahead and live. If my pepper plant dies back, then I may go ahead and just pull it out and let the broccoli see what it does. But see, here's my pipe right here. You can see my pipe. And my hole, I don't actually know where it's at. It's hard to find because I've got all these crammed together. And I think we've... You do have one over here? Yeah, right here. Woo! Looky there.
Got a big pepper.
You can pull that one.
Okay.
So we have got a ton of peppers off of these 2 pepper plants that I have.
Got a sharp knife, and we're going to cut the pepper, and we're going to see what it looks like on the inside and show y'all guys.
Okay. So now, this is a tomato plant that I had never planted before, and I planted it by seed. But we had picked a garden for somebody, and they had... Tomatoes right here. I know, baby. And they had some what they called yellow bell peppers. And I'm going to show you. Right here is one of them. So this is what they look like when they get big enough. They grow into a little bell. And then when they get done, they turn yellow like this. And she loves them. Yes, you can eat it. That and those cherry tomatoes is 2 of her favorite things that she loves to just pick off and eat. They don't even get enough time to grow.
We got a lot of peppers.
Hang on. Now this bucket here, it has 1 pepper plant, and then it had carrots in the bottom. The only thing that lived was this 1 carrot, and I don't think it's going to make it. It's the only thing I have left. And so I replanted 4 squash plants. No, 2. I planted 2 squash plants. 1, you can see it, 1 here and 1 here. And I planted those 2 just to see if anything would grow. But this jalapeno plant, if you can see here, let me show you on the side view. It's got 3 there. We've got a whole like 4 or 5 here. I've got some here. This pepper plant is just loaded, and that's a huge jalapeno. Just loaded with jalapenos. This is one that I had green beans in, and the green bean plants, I went to pick the green beans off and the whole plants came out. So I don't know if that was my fault, if I wasn't being easy enough. So I went ahead and picked them all. And I planted asparagus. Now I could not believe there's 1 there, 1 here, and 1 here. But I planted a whole bunch of them, and I could not believe that they started coming up this quick. Because I planted them like a week ago, and they're already coming back. And then I guess I got 1 zucchini or 1 squash plant in there. I didn't mean to, but it's in there. Okay, then this 5th one here is a tomato plant. It has cherry tomatoes right here. Why it's not there. There we go. It's got cherry tomatoes. So this plant has been doing pretty good. We've probably got 30 or 40 tomatoes off of it, but she comes out and picks them and eats them. as quick as she can. And then we have this other plant here.
Tomatoes.
And it is also I think this is the chocolate cherry tomatoes. We've got those planted. And this is also a tomato plant bucket. And we do have tomatoes on it. And we
got tomatoes, and we got a tomato over here.
And we've picked 7 or 8 tomatoes, big tomatoes, off of this one. So we've done really good with it. And then this was the planter that I had garlic in. I had garlic in all 3 of these that I went and gathered up out of my garden, brought them back. And these, this one I put potatoes in. I don't know that it's going to grow, but I went ahead and tried it just to see what happens. And then I didn't put anything in this second one. It just has some little leaves growing. And then in this last one has leftover garlic. And so I just left it in there. I want to go ahead and let it replant itself, and maybe I can just keep garlic in this one every year. Yes, I do need to pick out the flowering moss that keeps coming back. I've got to get that picked out. Okay, last thing is over here. Now I know this is so grown up because I was just going to let it go to seed. But this right here is the cauliflower plant. It actually lived and produced cauliflower. Now it's not going to be any good, I don't think, because it's been eaten off and restarted, and it's really dark instead of white. But I did have 6 of those in a row, but the rabbit got most of them. Then these are my cabbages. See how bad they look? There's that one, but I'm impressed with this one right here. It's actually starting to grow a cabbage, but I'm just going to let it go to seed. Looky here, y'all, there's a squash plant. See my squash plant right there? But look at these bugs on it. See if I can get it to zoom in on how bad these squash bugs are already starting to kill this plant. And I knew I had put some squash out here. I just didn't think it was going to live. But squash bugs were already killing that squash plant, and it ain't even hardly come up yet.
And this over here?
Yeah.
This is the broccoli. It's already starting to grow some broccoli back, but the rabbits ate most of it.
Yes, this is the broccoli that the rabbit ate to the ground, but it is starting to regrow. So I'm going to let it go to seed. There's one. There's one. There's one. That's another cabbage, I know. There's one. So the broccoli is actually trying to come back. And then there's a cabbage right there.
I need to show him something. You can see some people.
See this vine right here that's growing up? This is what I cannot kill out of my garden. It leaches on to everything that you have, and it will kill it and choke it out. So I've had to pull it out of the garden. I did have peas planted here, but it just comes all the way up this, and it grows and grows, and I cannot kill this out of here. I have tried and tried. Let me walk down here to the end.
Can I rip it?
Yes. This is what it is and what it looks like. This is where it's real thick, because I haven't messed with this end of the garden yet. But I am going to try to kill a lot of this for next year and see if I can get this stuff to quit growing. And I don't know. We're gonna try it and see how it happens. But anyway, that's what I got going on. Now I'm gonna walk you over to the chickens, and we're gonna show you something over. Okay. So, question about these chickens is, see their watering bucket that I have right here? Okay, so I have to take it out and fill it up every few days, because when they scratch dirt up into the water, but that's okay, not a problem. My question is the chickens will not roost in here where they're supposed to. See their 2 roosting sticks? They're supposed to roost in there. But no, here's where they go. They get way up in here. See that little crack? They all sit, all 3 of them sit on that little crack right up there to roost. And then they don't get in here, so therefore they don't poop on the pan. You're supposed to remove this pan here and take it and go clean it out, but they don't poop on it. It only has wood shavings on it from where they go in there to lay their eggs. But I don't know how to get my chickens to quit. I'm going to open up this. Quit roosting up in there. They keep getting up in there, and then they end up pooping on the top of this lid if I have it close enough to them. So, just trying to wonder if anybody knows how to get your chickens. And this pen's even made with a door that will open up and stay open to help keep them cool during the winter, but they don't even roost in here. Keep them cool during the summer, but they don't even roost in here. So, and then another question I have 3 chickens. I have 2 chickens and a rooster. So I have the gray chicken, and it was one of my very first chickens. So I know it lays like OD green eggs. And I've got it. Good chicken lays 1 egg every day. It hardly ever skips a day. But that black chicken, I cannot hardly get her. When she lays a brown egg. I cannot hardly get her to lay any eggs at all. And I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if anybody's got any suggestions about it. But I can't get her to lay anything. And so I was just wondering if anybody had any questions. And I got the rooster. So maybe they would go broody. And then I could have some chicks out of them. But that's not happening yet either.
Okay.
I was going to show you what the inside of a pepper looks like. Saw with it. Kind of saw. Hold your hand. There you go. There you go.
Okay. It has 2 holes and it's got a little line right here. I'm going to rip some of this.
You probably shouldn't be touching that pepper with your hands.
I'll wash my hands.
Okay.
And it's got some
seeds.
Weird looking seeds. Feel weird too. It's sort of like a bell pepper.
Here's what you do, is you take those seeds and you let them sit out and you let them dry. When they dry, you can use them as seeds for next year.
I'll do that.
You think so? Well, that's too hard to keep them all, because when you can buy a pack of seeds for $1.50. Okay, here's what the inside of a pepper looks like. Got it?
And here's the other side. It don't have seeds.
Nope, only seeds are at the top. Oh, it's got 1 seed. Okay, that's all for the peppers.